Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Doing good. We're
Good,
crossing
good,
our
good, good.
fingers that we're coming on Facebook. So I was going to pop over and just kind of see what's
I
going
was
on there.
too. I was pulling up a second screen.
Oh, good,
It's
good.
fine. I got onto the page. Let me
I believe it
see.
is. Yes,
It
it
looks
is.
like it says plans to go live. Yeah. Very cool.
Awesome. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're good. We're there. Oh, thank
Good evening, everyone.
God.
We'll do a little housekeeping chit chat while people sign up
Yes.
and come on board for tonight's show. Iris, I usually run it down. Are you in the middle of something or shall I run it down tonight? Or do you
Uh,
want to do housekeeping? What do you feel like?
it's fine. Go ahead and run it down because I can throw the stuff up on the screen as you talk.
Yay. All right, names first. I am Margot. The other person here, I don't know which side of your screen she's on, but she's on the other side of me. That's Iris. Hi. We have Heather Hilton coming in. Yay! Hello,
Yay!
Heather.
And she's from Facebook, so that's a good sign too.
Excellent, excellent sign because last week Facebook was giving us a little bit of heat.
And there's
And
somebody from YouTube. Yay!
YouTube, we got JJL. Howdy, 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 howdy. Glad to have you. So, this is Eyes of Indigo. We are on here once a week, Wednesday nights, 9:30 Eastern Time USA. Probably need to start saying that, Irish, because people do come to us from other countries. It's kind of interesting at times, and other time zones. And we do this show live once a week since September of 2020. You can see a playlist of past topics on Iris's TV show. That's good. Ooh, that was predictive. On Iris's website, iriscarter.com, and you can search past shows, past episodes. If you'd like to see the very first episode, which tells you more about our credentials, our experiences, and it's called the prequel. This is a really good episode for those of you that have not met me or met Iris before now and are kind of wondering where did these ladies come from to speak with such aplomb on such a variety of subjects. And varieties of topic eye. So, what topics are we talking about? Iris, roll that beautiful beam footage. We talk about how it was these way discussing weird stuff in a rational way has been our thread the whole way, our byline. But our actual goal is to educate and enlighten with a sense of humor. And when people need resources for information, eventually they can find us or they can find our archive that I just mentioned and get more information about coping with weird stuff in modern times in a rational way. Okay, that's our ultimate goal. So there she is again. Hello, Vanessa and Jody, Kentucky. She's throwing her thumbs up. Yay.
Yeah, so she was in Vegas before, so now she's in Kentucky. So.
Oh, she's been jumping around. Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Lived a little bit of a rolling stone.
Yeah.
Very cool. So you can also hear our show in back issues, so to speak, in recording audio on iTunes and other conglomerates. Conglomerates is that aggregates of that. Spotify is another one, and apparently that's fairly popular. And yep, so we try to voice everything that goes across the screen, or people when you write in questions. Of course, Facebook people can't see the chat from YouTube, and YouTube people can't see the chat from Facebook. So it helps everybody when we read it out loud. You might hear us do that. Please give us a minute or two delay. When you write something, it takes a while for it to come through the system until we see it. And I say that because tonight, Iris, what are we doing?
Tonight we are doing psychic readings. We like to try to do this once a month. And we take questions from the audience. You are welcome to let us know, if you have a particular question. We can't spend a lot of time with every person. We try to keep it short readings.
Mini.
Yeah, mini
Miniature.
readings. And but if you ask a question, it can be about something that happened in the past, somebody who died, some what's happening in your future, that sort of thing. A lot of times when people don't know what to ask, they just ask, "What do I need to know?" So it we'll field any of your questions, and we kind of take turns, or one of us kind of gets a buzz on something, and we'll go, "Hey, I'll take that question." And so you'll kind of see how we volley it between us. And you can type in your question. If we need clarification, we'll ask, and we take the questions first come, first serve. And sometimes we do ask a question back. So if you can,
stay with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, stay with us because it's going to come around. Also, whenever you hear advice and readings that are initially for someone else, if you're here listening to it, there's a piece of it in there for you as well. So don't tune out while we're talking about it, somebody else's story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, your guides are using this to tell you something. Using this show.
Hello, Janine.
Janine, Heather's sister is here. Hello.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, Heather and Janine are sissies.
Is that the one? Do they have a mom that shows up sometimes too? Maybe not. No.
Ladies, I don't think so. They got. Oh, JJ's already figured out the start.
Yay!
So, a little bit of background. I mean, if you want to soak up that question, Iris, a little bit of background. You can ask us almost anything. You can ask us, what are your spirit guides that are around you at the moment? You can ask us about past lives. You can ask us about relationships, family and romantic and not romantic and work related. Chakra and aura colors, because trust me, I can still see you. If you ask me to tune in on you, I can see all that good stuff. That's not that hard for Iris. All she's got it, she goes up and she asks her guides to have a look at you and report back. So there's more than one way to do this. And that's one of the fun things is because Iris and I use similar tools, but significantly different other tools.
Edie, I just checked. I'm sorry, Edie asked, she said she can't see it on Facebook, but I just checked and it's showing on Facebook. So you might want to refresh your screen, Edie. See if that helps.
Yeah, sign off and sign back on, Edie. See what happens. And we've got questions coming in. Excellent. Happy to do that. And if you can't think of any other question, yes, tell me what I need to know is a good basic question. But honestly, people, there's got to be something somewhere in your life that you would like a little bit of clarity on specifically. Mm-hmm. If you want to withhold names, that's good. Protect the innocent, absolutely. You can change names to protect the innocent if you like. You don't have to get too personal. You can be asking for a friend. All kinds of good stuff. Hang on a second. And my point is don't be shy.
Yeah.
Feel free to jump in.
Okay. So JJ wants to know, what do I need to know? I would love to know when the stock market will plummet, but that might be outside of y'all's purview.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, JJ, you want to go down a road that we're just dying to go down. But we don't want to overwhelm people and wake them up too fast. And we were talking about this right before the show. We don't want to give people PTSD if that's even an issue. But if it happens, but if PTSD happens, we don't want to be responsible for that. So,
but I think too,
what you got, Iris?
We're guided to share regardless. Whether it's
crack doors,
like
crack windows.
What is okay for me to share? Tell me what I can tell him. And I don't know if JJ is a he or her, and I apologize. It's like you're doing a psychic reading and you don't know which I am.
We're psychics. We're not pervs looking at your genitalia. Yeah. Is the answer to that.
And
I've met a
you're
lot of
looking at
women who read
energies.
like men and a lot of men who read very effeminate. So that doesn't mean anything. But JJ
When
says
will
specific.
UVXY spike?
Yeah.
And thank you. Yeah, okay. All right.
So you're interested in a specific stock market piece.
Yeah, and I'm not sure which one that is. I'm not real big on the market, but
Yeah. JJ, can you tell us what company is UVXY? Because I'm not familiar with that either.
Jason. Oh, Jason. Okay,
Honey,
so
I know
Jason's a
I know a
male.
lot. Okay. Jason, we both
Jason.
personally know lots of Jasons.
Jason. Not.
Last name L.
Oh shit.
You did. Okay, so don't give away his identity because obviously he doesn't want it given away.
Yeah. So sorry, dear. If you're yeah, Jesus Christmas. Think about the last
It's
name.
actually
You know
worse
who it
than the
is.
word shit. Christmas is taking the Lord's name in vain, darling.
Oh my God.
It's a leveraged volatility ticker.
Margot, I will tell you, you know who this is.
Okay. So a leveraged volatility ticker.
Yeah.
Wow. I was going to say somebody's making money off of
Does this name look familiar?
tanking. No, faces are more familiar than.
Yes, you had never seen his face, but you know his mother very well.
Okay. All right.
Because I know her very well. Deborah.
Oh, how interesting.
Thank you. I am so glad you tuned in. I never would have expected it, but yeah, holy shit, that's awesome. And that explains the stock market stuff and all that. It just kind of like
jumps in there a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, so the intuitive read, we're beating around the bush here. The intuitive read keeps showing up for some reason. When you ask that question, the first number that came into my mind, it's usually, and it was the quiet one at the back of my head, barely could hear it, 2 weeks. I heard 2 weeks. And we're talking 13 to 14 days to be more specific. Now, like everything else that is predicted into the future, all we can do, or speaking for myself actually, all I can do is tell you the highest probability based on current events right at this moment.
Exactly.
If anybody makes a huge change, let's say the Trump arrest goes through, or the U.S. resident Biden stuff gets made public or whatever, and Hunter Biden stuff gets more public or whatever, all that stuff can change in a heartbeat. Bitcoin, all that, which is all volatility stuff, obviously. So guys, give me a long and a short. Okay, they said 3 days to 2 weeks. So you're in the clear for another 3 days. After that, you're living on borrowed time with stock. Specifically, guys, can you tell me more about that specific UVXY? Ooh. UVXY, they're showing me it's already starting to tank, and you're not going to find out about it until the stock market opens tomorrow morning. It's already starting its descent, and it's not going to recover. I mean, it might recover like this. It's going to go and that's about as much as it's going to recover.
And he says 2 weeks aligns with his thesis too.
2 weeks aligns with his thesis. All right, have fun with that.
Yeah, and he yeah, and again, things can change in a heartbeat. Yeah. So yeah, just
guys, do not make investments based on this advice. These readings are for entertainment purposes only.
Thank you. And we don't take legal advice from us either, but we'll, but hey.
Neither one of us are doctors. Neither one of us are financial or legal advisors of any sort. If the stock market tanks, UV goes big. It depends on if that is are you saying that that's a gold-based system, a platinum-based system, or is that a fiat-based system?
Or it goes big as in it tanks bigger.
That's true. Language is interpretive. Absolutely. Thank you, Iris. That's good clarity.
Yeah, I
So
don't know. But
yeah. So if
okay.
anything's fiat or digital coin back, yeah, you're gonna struggle. In theory. In theory.
Yeah, and it's just there's so many.
3 days from now is December 15th. Interesting. Okay.
October 15th too.
Sorry. October 15th. Ooh, something about December 15th. Keep that one in the back of your mind, folks.
Yeah. Hey,
Next question.
timelines are changing and all kinds of crap. It's just
Yes, it is.
basically the most scared people are the most scared people are about the market, the more value you XVY gains.
Of
Okay.
course, somebody's going to leverage that. That makes perfect sense. Humans are industrious that way.
It's an overly complicated. Aren't all financial instruments complicated in at this point, and that's why we're hoping we get a goal to make it simpler. But
yes, that's one of the intentions. Yeah, so that it doesn't go over every man's head. All right. So the next person was Anita, and she said, "Hello, Margot and Iris. Tell me what I need to know." And her name is Anita.
Oh, there it is.
A little further up. Yep.
Yeah. Tell me what I need to know. So Anita McIntosh.
I can tell you a bunch of symbolism that's coming in my head, but I don't know what it means.
Yeah, and I'm for Anita, I get the impression that you're worried about somebody in your family. Somebody I'm hearing a younger male, maybe. Is there something going on with a younger male in your family or a concern? Because and I don't know why. And sometimes something else for somebody else will pop in and get in the way. So if I'm reading it wrong, I apologize. But what I'm hearing is let things take their course. You're not going to do anything personally to change
Hands
things.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, back. Yeah. Pull back, step back, let things go.
Her mom, you're okay.
You definitely needs to detach from your mom. Yeah, you need to let mom do her thing and you do your thing.
Yeah, and then when girls, that doesn't make sense. Where is the male figure coming? Are you seeing a male figure, Margot?
Oh no, I was going straight by what she was saying.
Okay. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe somebody else has it, and it's just
the male figure is somebody. Okay, now that you asked me about it, the male figure is coming in the future. Like in the next few days, few weeks, is a significant male energy. Like either her boyfriend or somebody else's boyfriend is going to start getting on her radar, maybe in a positive or negative way, or a male from the past, like a dad or an uncle or a cousin or a granddad, is going to come back into the picture or something like that. What I'm seeing is the male is a future event, not a current event.
All right. So, and then all of these issues, I think Anita is one of those that tries to make everybody happy. She's a fixer, and
people believe there.
Yeah. And
it's not necessary in this case.
So your mom and
that doesn't matter. Yeah. They can still very, very much influence you. Yeah, it's just not as obvious.
Yeah, she's a people pleaser for sure. Yeah. And so and whether they're dead or alive, you're not going to please everybody. Take time for yourself, Anita. Do something for yourself. I'm hearing it is time for you to do something for yourself.
Get closure.
Yeah.
For yourself.
Start living.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of put everything on hold, I think. And then if this male figure pops up, just let things happen. Don't don't worry about it. Don't try to fix anything. Just let it
Let it
play
be.
out.
Yeah.
Okay. So I hope that makes
Yeah.
sense.
The first read I got is it is a romantic interest, the male that's coming. Yeah. So
Okay.
have fun. So have fun with that. And don't worry about the outcome. Let go of the outcome. Yeah.
Okay.
So V is next. She says, I trust you, ladies. Whatever is coming through the strongest, maybe some guidance on personal relationships. Well,
But
V,
Daniel, wait a minute. She comes back a little bit later and she says, past lives would be better, please.
okay. I was going to say, because the personal relationship advice just happened. Like we said. So past lives. Which past life, sweetie? The last one? The one that precipitated where you're at now? Your first one? Your next one? which past, remember time is in a circle, it's not linear. So your next one is also your last one, actually, in some ways. I know that sounds convoluted. V, I know you're a shamanic person. Be a little bit more specific about what type of past life you're reference point, what type of past life are you looking for, and to learn about. And we'll circle back around to you. I think Edie was next. Is Dave? Okay. Let me come back. I've already shifted into Edie.
Okay.
Edie says, is Dave still cocooning? And if I remember right, that's from a past reading about a dear friend of hers who had passed on, and she wanted to know where he was. Edie, I'm hoping I'm remembering correctly. And she wanted to know where he was on the other side, so to speak. What stage or what choices of existence did he make? And if I remember right, I said he was cocooning. And when I tuned back in, he is still cocooning, but now he's in a chrysalis phase rather than a cocoon phase, and he can see. He can see through the energies around him that are holding him in safe space, which tells me his new awarenesses are coming on board. But he still isn't active. He's still in a chrysalis. Feel free to look up that word to find out more about what it means. It's the hard, shiny cocoon stage that he will eventually emerge a whole nother being, a higher form of his former self.
Anita mentioned, because we were talking about a male energy coming into her life, and she says she's gay.
She's gay.
And it's a male energy, though. I mean,
energy
still
doesn't mean that they have a Y chromosome. Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that real quick. And then
Thank you, Anita, for bringing us that information. But yeah, we're talking about a strong masculine divine energy rather than somebody sporting a penis. All right.
Exactly. And then let's see, Heather.
My first cousin Caleb. This is yours, Iris. My first cousin Caleb passed suddenly in 2010. He and I were extremely close. Is he coming through tonight? Caleb.
Yes. Well, I think he's actually coming through all the time. I think he's around, and he's aware of what's going on with you. But he's also happy and busy on the other side. I'm hearing him say he's experiencing a lot of growth. He's going through a lot of. He's helping a lot of other people make adjustments as they come in, and he's working with younger people that are coming in. where they're transitioning and not sure kind of where they are and what they're doing and what they want to do after they pass, and whether they're being reincarnated or whether they're um, um, going on and learning some other things before they go through the cycle again. He's helping them make those decisions and helping them make the adjustments, because um, let's face it, if somebody young dies suddenly, it's kind of a whoops, what happened, and so and
There's a
that's
disturbance in the force. Right.
yeah, and so he's helping with those adjustments, and he's finding it extremely rewarding, and he's enjoying that. But he checks in with you, and
And you're not the only one he checks in on.
yeah,
He says to tell you he loves you. He said she already knows that, but she'll get a kick out of hearing it from someone else.
yeah,
Is literally what he said. Yeah. Yeah.
and
He
just
does love you.
and if you
He's
have
sort of
questions,
punching you in the shoulder, like a buddy.
yeah, and if you have questions, ask him.
You'll hear it.
Yeah, you'll hear it, or he'll leave you a clue that he heard it, and you just got to be watching for those. So I hope that helps. All right, who we got?
Next question was Laurie Rich. Laurie, Lauri. Hey there, Margot Iris. Thank you for doing this live chat. What is coming through for me? And we have a picture. That's very helpful, actually.
Yeah.
Like you want, I got stuff right off the bat.
Okay, go ahead.
A cat. There is a spirit animal trotting around you, Laurie, and it's a feline. And I don't know if I'm trying to figure out what kind of feline is, if it's domestic or if it's a small wild or a medium wild. In other words, domestic cat, bobcat, cougar, lion, tiger, what kind of kitty medicine are we talking here? And it looks like it's on the smaller end, but not too small, sort of like a bobcat size, or a very large Maine Coon. Maine Coon. Kind of beefy pussycat, big furry moo. It can get huge. Maine Coons can get huge. And it behooves you, if you'd like, to look up cat medicine, spirit animal, totem animal, power animal medicine. You can find some, some resources, some links on my website, indigoanswers.com. Indigo, like the color, Indigo Answers with an S.com. Iris, could you run me a ribbon of that across the bottom of the screen?
I think so, yeah.
And awesome. And on the resources page, you can see some links to totem animals, power animals dictionaries. Look up the word cat. Look up the word bobcat. And honestly, I keep seeing a tiger. The Reiki.org is a different reference. That's something else altogether.
Yeah, but it was already there. So those are all of Margot's websites. Indigo Answers.
Networkthelight.net is another one of mine. Absolutely. So check out cat medicine. The primary features of the animal are the skills and the awarenesses that animal is trying to teach you for your current life lesson. So read up on cat medicine and the pieces of those descriptions that speak to you. Apply it to your life as you wish, as you feel guided to. Get in the habit of trusting your intuition, especially somebody with cat medicine. Follow your intuitive instincts more and more and more. Trust them, trust your instincts. And if there are pieces in there that don't seem to apply to you, ignore that. That's not the parts that were there for you. You'll know, you'll feel, you'll intuit the pieces that are there for you. Okay?
Okay.
Iris, what's next?
I just wanted to say, Heather talked about her cousin and that he was a smooth talking person and we were buddies. So that's good to hear. And Janine said, love you, Caleb. So that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. But anyway, next is Jody. She says there's a town nearby that was a site of Civil War battle. Do you see any paranormal around me? Yes, Jody, you've got paranormal around you, but I don't think it's just because of the Civil War battle. I think it is because let me hide this thing. It's been going and I'm getting distracted. You have been piquing your interest and honing your interest, and when you start recognizing that stuff's around you, more stuff happens. And I think if you're thinking that there's something around you or that you're sensing things, it could be that there was Civil War stuff around you, especially if your property is in that area or whatever. And a lot of that is going to be imprints, energy imprints, as opposed to like actually dead people coming in and going, I was in the Civil War and what are you doing here kind of deal. But you might be sensing that energy around you because in any battle there's a lot of energy that happens and it just makes an imprint. And just like when you can walk in a room when somebody's arguing and can tell that the room is full of energy, it's the same with places that have had big battles and such. Don't fear it. Recognize that you are in control of your own area. If you feel like something is bothering you or startles you or whatever, ask anything that's around you, negative energy, ask it to leave. It has to leave. It's your domain. You don't have to
Tolerate it.
If something is not negative and you feel like it's trying to communicate, just ask not to be startled. Like, quit jumping out in front of me because you're scaring the crap out of me. That kind of thing. If you're going to materialize, be slow about it so I can kind
Acclimate.
of absorb. Yeah. You can ask, you can make those kinds of requests. Or you can just say, look, if something is here that's meant to be a guardian or watch over me, that's great. Watching over me does not entail you getting into my space and scaring the shit out of me. Okay. But I think, yeah. So, you communicate out loud and say what you want. If you're wanting to recognize and contact what's around you, find some quiet time, meditation, and just ask. Okay, now's the time. If there's something you want to tell me, and just start going with your gut on it. But yeah, there's stuff around you, but I think it's just because you're tuning in more to it. And that's kind of a scary seesaw to be on, where you're starting to recognize stuff and then you're going, oh shit, well, is stuff coming around? No, it's always been there. It's just your recognition of it. So I hope that helps a little bit. And welcome, Valerie. You say you're new. Did you want to add anything to my Jody statement?
You did fine. Okay. You did great. I was going to say hi to Valerie as well.
Yeah.
And Janine says, is there anything coming through for me? What you got, Iris? The next question I've already got a bead on from Terry T. So, Janine, I can jump in if you.
Okay. Good,
Jody. You're good.
She says it was great advice. Likes what she likes what she heard. Okay.
Anything coming through for Janine?
Janine.
Can you see her face? There you go.
Yeah.
Janine, it's quiet out there for you. It is. There's not a lot of disturbance going on.
Which tells me that you're on the right path. Whatever you're doing, you're doing.
You're in the flow. You're not causing a lot of ripples. There's not a lot of backlash.
Yeah. Yeah. So, when you stay
You're doing
on the
it right.
path you're on. Yeah, stay on the path you're on.
Whatever it is, you're doing it right. Even if
and
you're upsetting people, you're supposed to. Hypothetically.
She said,
Or
wow,
whatever you
crickets. Well, that's good. I mean, how's your love life? That's the only.
Even if your love life is quiet right now, it's supposed to be.
Yeah, I'm on my right path to healing. Yes, you are. Yeah.
Yeah. We're here to confirm that you're doing it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the next question was
Terry, and he also, I'm sorry, Terry, he, she, I don't know which, but she's, man for love. So, but Terry could still be a man. I don't want to assume.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't matter.
But Terry said he or she was new. So welcome, Terry. We're glad you're here.
May I ask a question? And when will I meet my man for love? All right, Terry wants a man. Regardless of what gender Terry chooses.
Yes.
Terry chooses. What I'm seeing, I started tuning in on it, is there is not one but two potential partners coming into you somewhere in the next 3 to 6 months. They will show up a couple of weeks or several days apart, one than the other, and you will be keenly interested in both. It will be a wonderful dilemma to have two partners where two people interested in you where you were going for months and months with solo without. And eventually one will become more clear as a longer term partner than the other. It doesn't matter, Terry. And one of them's going to become more clear than the other as a more permanent partner. And potentially that person could be a lifetime partner, co-parenting, co-owner of a house, married, good stuff, yada, yada, yada. But not before you go through several months, maybe a year or more of dating, and he is one. Well, guess what, Terry? It says two, but I'm not good with dilemmas. Well, then, Terry, you don't need to be in a relationship if you're not good with dilemmas.
Now, Marco. All right.
I'm just saying it the way it is. All right. Yes, you can have a peaceful, calm, happy relationship. It will still give you dilemmas.
And Terry, when you say you're not good with dilemmas, recognize the reason you're not good with dilemmas. And I get what I'm hearing is you like kind of status quo and people telling you what to do, sort of thing. You're more
don't want to rock the boat.
Yeah. And this is your time. It is now your time to make choices for you.
And not worry about conflict type garbage or what other people might think or say or whose toes may or may not get stepped on.
It's for you. I mean, you can still be polite and nice to people and still make choices that are best for
yourself.
You.
Yeah.
And when you're talking about potential life partners, that's what's important, is what you want and what works for you, not just to have somebody stumble on your path and you go, well, they like me, so I'm going to go with them. You
need, both of y'all need to respect each other's choices and honor that.
Yeah.
And that's eventually what's going to narrow down who it is that sticks out as ideal.
Yeah, very much so. So
who's going to ask you, who's going to require you to conform, and who's going to ask you to step up and be what you need to be to make you happy?
And
The
respect
second one is the one you want.
and respect them both, and you don't have
Sure.
to, it doesn't mean that you're sneaking around behind their backs and stuff like that.
You can be perfectly honest about the fact you are not committed to just one person at this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're not married. As long as you're not married, you can date as much as you want.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I'm glad it speaks to you. But 3 to 6, and they will start rolling in. And you're going to have to step up with putting your own needs first and finding out who can respect that and who cannot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay.
So,
Ashley, I think is next. No,
anything
yeah.
in the cards for romance for me, meaning Ashley? And if not, I'm happy to hear about business. Ashley is a fascinating person.
Oh, really?
I know her personally. Yeah, she's awesome. And her kid is just, let me look at that picture. He is
That's
just
an adorable.
Oh, he is an old soul from way back. He's an amazing little young man. Yeah, just like his mom. He's an amazing old soul too. Yeah.
Anything in the cards for romance? Yeah, I'm not as good with timelines as Margot is, but 6 months, a year. It might take a little bit. I think there's still some
that
things.
Sounds right. That sounds right. Yeah.
There's still some things. You might be ready, but the person that you're going to meet is not yet ready, and that's taking some time to resolve and get him on the path.
That's got a big blue light all around it. You're making my temperature go up. Yep. That's a high truth. You're doing good.
And so, and it's just for things maybe I'm thinking the other person is getting out of a relationship and you want them to heal before they come around to you.
You want them to get over the PTSD before you start having to deal with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They need to heal that first.
So enjoy your time for you. Don't be in a hurry. Give it time and he'll be coming around. Your and I'm not positive on this, but I'm thinking somebody's going to introduce you to. It is probably how it's going to come.
A friend
through.
of a friend. Yeah, you haven't met him yet. It's a friend of a friend.
And
but currently he's in a relationship, so your friends don't see him as a possible match for you yet. It's going to be another year before he becomes.
Well, he'll become
eligible
single before then, and then
Yes, but not right this minute. Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now you don't know that it's him.
Yeah. Right. And so
because he's still in another relationship at this time.
But when it happens, he'll be ready. And yeah,
a year is a good call. 6 months is pushing it. Yeah. It could happen, but a year would be nearly ideal. That was good, Iris. She did fine. All right, so V came back and she said, "Past life, my shamanic one."
That was that was the.
I asked her to circle back around.
Oh.
Yeah, because we didn't read for her because I asked her which past life, and she answered the question at this point. V Grow. First of all, Val, it's really cute that you think that you only had one shamanic life. That's just about adorable. Sweetie, you've had dozens of them, which is why you chose in this life to be barely aware of it until recently. You asked to go back to your awareness, to turn back your awareness to almost ground zero so that you could rediscover a bunch of stuff you had already pretty much learned in other shamanic lives, but now you wanted to learn it from another perspective, and therefore it's new information again. And that's the path you're on now. So in terms of shamanic life, the life that's coming up, I asked them to show me the life that's going to benefit you the most, to hear about it now. And they're showing me the ones that were related to your Celtic existence, pre-Stonehenge, northern, the islands, northern Great British Isles. Normandy. They're showing me that you're yeah. You come from a line of when the Normans came across and started invading the indigenous tribes of the northern Great British Isles, and they were called Normans from Normandy. But it was a very sophisticated culture that the Normans found, and it was a matriarchy at the time. Women were the high priestesses of the time. They were the ones in those cultures, but it was actually a very balanced culture that masculine and feminine energy had very much equal influence. It's just most of the time when they had to defer to one decision, they deferred to the matriarchy. So anyway, you were a part of that group, and they're showing me that you lived several times in that timeline, that you really, really enjoyed it, that you totally rocked it, and that your people were there and your tribe kept going back there. So that's where you guys were happy. And eventually they're like, all right. We've ridden down this this snow sled route enough times. We're bearing down to the grass. There's no more snow. Let's try another shamanic life. And you have. You've done Asian lifetimes. You've done Central American lifetimes. They're showing me you've done at least 2 African continent cultural shamanic lifetimes, but they're showing me you didn't enjoy that one as much. Something about things biting you from the water, like leeches or fish or snakes or something coming out of the water and biting you and biting your children. And it annoyed the crap out of you. So you're like, I'm not going back to that lifetime because then I have to live next to those bitey water creatures. You went to another continent and you're enjoying a Native American influence, a United States First Nations. The runes would be a flat blast from the past. You should be able to intuit runes really intuitively and very fast on a subconscious level. Yes, learn the basics of what they actually mean so you can get the linguistics and the language going for what runes are, but it would be okay for you to quickly switch back into your intuitive interpretation of what those symbol patterns mean. Sort of like when people do tarot cards, there's a literal message and then there's the intuitive message that comes from different combinations of cards. You can do the same thing with runes and you will be very adept at it. So, switching gears to the next person.
Valerie says, what do you see for me next year? And I got, Valerie, I think you have the same issue I do because it's like, it's wide open for you. You've just got to make up your mind. I'm sensing that you're thinking of going in different directions and you're not sure and you're waiting for somebody else to make the decision for you or something, for your guides to just plop a big old sign in front of you and go, do this with the neon lights, which is what I would love to happen in my life at this point. But it's not going to happen. And so you're going to have to make up your mind what you want to focus on. And if you want it all, that's great, but you got to be able to be prepared to give it all to, so it's like making the decision and moving in that direction in order for things to start being laid out. It's like your guides and creator are all there waiting for you to choose your path so they can start laying the bricks down for you. It's like you're kind of hesitating and you're at a multi fork. It's not just a this or that. There's like 3 or 4 choices that you've got and you're not leaning toward any one of them. And it's like, well, we can't start. If she goes this way, we can do these things to help her on her way. If she goes this way, we can do these things. But it's like they're kind of waiting for you to make a choice. You're at a crossroads, I guess, is the best way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Ain't we all?
yeah, yeah, and
Cosmically speaking, lately, right?
and I think, and this is true for everybody, the only thing that holds us back is ourselves
Mm.
and our personal beliefs and the things that we think, well, oh, I could never be that, or I could never do that, or that must be hard, et cetera, et cetera. Um,
Yeah.
and so she says, yes, that is true. Okay, good. So, yeah, and it's okay if, another thing is, and I've said this to other people as well, if you make a choice and start doing something, in other words, if you're just stagnant, nothing's going to happen, right? So you've got to make a choice and go with the choice that feels the best to you and move in that direction, because that might not be what the ultimate is going to be, but on that road, you will then start seeing the signs of the turns you need to make. But it's just sort of like you've just stopped, and it's like you got to put the gas on, you got to put your foot on the gas pedal for it to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have to tell the universe what you want in order for it to do something successful for you.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, so thank you. Next one,
Zach.
Zach. He has a typo that's really cool. I'll read it correctly. Hope you all are doing well. Tell me what I need to know. Let me also ask, do you sense a relationship in my future? Love what you all do. Missed you all last week.
Yes.
All right.
Zach.
So do you see something in Zach's future, or do you want me to run with that
Go ahead
one?
and run with it.
All right. So Zach, a lot of the relationship info that we've been talking about for other people is also going to apply for you. And I said, are you sure? Because that's a little cliche. And they said, no, point that out. Bring that forward and confirm that if he's been listening for the past half hour or whatever, that it is for him too. And in a nutshell, about 1 year, 9 months to 14 months, about 1 year from now is going to be a sweet spot for you and a lot of other similar people to find their nearly perfect or their perfect match for that time in their life. If you try to find that person now, you won't recognize them because you're not that person in the future yet. 9 months, let's say 9 months, 10 months from now. So they're not, if somebody said, yep, that's the person, you might go, are you serious? That's not for me? Well, that's because you're not the correct person right now that you will be then.
Yes.
Just to reiterate a little bit. However, you will have choices. Your choices are going to be a little more gradual. They're showing me that a relationship will happen. You'll learn from each other, you'll grow from each other, and you will naturally release each other. And the next person will immediately show up, and you'll learn and grow and be fruitful and become really great friends and realize, okay, we're just friends. Let's go find romance with other people and still be friends. And okay, and you do, and a third person is going to show up that's much more intensely romantic and still appropriate in other ways. But all that's going to happen in roughly a year from now. Therefore, right now, your endeavor is to grow yourself, grow your intuition, grow your sense of compassion, grow your sense of balance, do shadow work. Look up what that means to do shadow work, talking about healing the dark side or the wounded side of yourself. Different ways to do that without totally killing yourself in a ball of soggy tears in the living room over some childhood trauma. No, there's gentler and more effective ways to deal with your shadow self. There's lots of cool YouTube videos with how to. We have episodes in this series that you can dial in. Again, iriscarter.com, Eyes of Indigo, the playlist or the topic list. And Iris, throw out your website if you don't mind, so
Yeah,
people can see that as well. iriscarter.com, and look up the topic of shadow work. Zachary, you're going to find that very, very useful for you. And they're also telling me that you're going to be recommending it to someone else in your life besides just you. And thank you for all the kind words. We appreciate that.
And this is my website, and I'll just show everybody real quick. If you go to iriscarter.com, very simple. And over here on the side, you can see there's some podcasts that I've posted there are early on and have some backstories too. It's terribly behind, but it still might be some of interest to you. But the new thing is we've put the podcast directory up here, and instructions are at the top. You know, Control F for find, and you can put in a keyword and look at all the things that are dealing with that. So like if shadow work, or if you want to see our other psychic things, or when we had special guests, or you know, we've got all the different keywords there, you know.
They're all indexed there.
Yeah. So that is that. Okay. So all right. So
thank you.
Yes. And
I'm thinking we got one more question. Heather Hilton says, my current animal guide.
Yeah, and there was one above that. Also, Anita, I wanted to know about the guardian spirits in her house.
Ah, all right. So good. Would you like to catch that one?
Yeah, what I was getting, Anita, is and I want to make sure we're clarifying your guardian angels, spirit guides. They're around you regardless of where you are. If you're sensing something extra in your house, it may be it's a different energy. And if you don't want it there, you can ask it to leave. And you can also ask your guides to help protect you from unwanted energies. So they're there to help you, and they stay out of the way unless you ask them for help. They're not always, you know, it's not like, you know, they're not gonna interfere unless you ask them to.
Anita commented, my mom lives with me and talks to them.
Okay.
So they're being invited. That's an invitation to be there.
Yeah. And if your mom's talking to them,
that's welcoming them in.
Yeah, she's welcoming them. And if she has any form of dementia, they're playing on her. They're playing on her energy and her welcoming attitude.
It makes her a target.
Yeah. And so you can actually establish the rules for your house. Even though your mom lives there, they don't have to come in and bother either one of you. You make it clear, and you say this out loud, and you can say it like, maybe I keep getting the feeling that your mom's has a form of dementia. Maybe
yes, and doing what they tell her.
Yeah, and so just like, so maybe if she's in another room, go in her room and say this as well, because you want to kind of clean out her space where she is most of the time.
Only benevolent beings are allowed.
Yes. And that, yeah, only benevolent, positive beings are allowed. Anything negative must go. And also envision
immediately.
Yeah.
Must go immediately.
Yes.
Be very clear about now, depart, gone, now, immediately, toot sweet, chop chop, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is your space. It's your home. You have a right to say if a stranger walked in your door and started talking to your mom, and your mom was going, "Look at this nice young man that came in to talk to me," you'd be telling him to get his ass out the door. You can do the same thing with intrusive spirits. Okay, it's no different. Just because they're dead or just because they've never lived and they're in a spirit form doesn't mean that they
that does not mean they have superpowers.
Right.
It just means that they don't have a body. That's all it means.
Exactly. And
That's
so you
all
tell
it
them
means.
get their ass out. Just like you would tell somebody who walks in your door and camps in your mama's room to get out, you're doing the same thing, and you're telling them out loud. Also,
you can ask those benevolent spirits.
And do it around the house too. But imagine too,
yeah,
that the energy that connect yourself, ground yourself, and we've done this in previous episodes as well. Talk about grounding and meditations and things like that. But ground yourself and imagine your energy extending beyond yourself and making a big energetic bubble, and make it go around your home all the way underground and above the house. It's a big bubble that surrounds your home and is only positive energy, and nothing negative is welcome to come through. That will help as well. And sometimes you need to renew it. It's not going to because we end up pulling our energy back or whatever. So every so often, just do that and just command that your space is your own, and you're not going to tolerate it and them being around your mom. And
so yeah. Anita says she talks to my aunts and my dad, all deceased. Anita, don't assume that the beings talking to your mother are actually your aunties and your dad.
And who they say.
Don't believe what they say they are necessarily. It might be your aunts and your dad, but you can't take that if they're not talking directly to you, and you can get a vibe on it and ask them key questions and get answers, blah, 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 blah. You don't want to assume that they're telling the truth, because those entities will lie to get on friendly level with you, with your mom, so that she'll give them energy. They get energy just by her talking to them. Okay? So if you are calling in positive, benevolent energies, loving energies only, you can also ask those positive, loving, benevolent energies to help shield you and your mom and your living situation from negative energies, so that you're not the only being doing this.
And another thing, Anita, keep in mind, if your mother is in fact talking with your dad and aunts, then they'll stay if they're benevolent.
Yeah.
If she suddenly quits talking and goes, "I just never talk to them anymore," then you know that they were
lying.
Yeah, malicious or whatever. Not malicious, but you know what I mean.
And then lying.
Yeah, and lying. If she continues to talk to them, sometimes they become more prevalent the closer we get to death. I remember my mother talking about my grandfather would be talking at night. They lived in a 2-story home, and hospice was coming in. They knew, they didn't know exactly when he was going to die, but Mom said they'd get upstairs to their room and they'd hear him downstairs talking. And so they have to go downstairs to see, do you need something? No, I'm not talking to you. Oh, okay, whatever. So I thought, oh, good. Perfect. It's almost Christmas. So at Christmas time, I gave my parents a baby monitor. So now you don't have to run down and see if he's calling for help. You'll know because you can listen to the baby monitor. And if he's just talking in his sleep, or, or if he's saying, no, then you need to go down and see him. They listened to it for one night and they had to turn it off because of the conversations he was having. And they were hearing the second voice on there. And Mom's like, never mind, we don't want to hear. We can do the whole conversation then, and we didn't want to hear sometimes happens. So just giving you a heads up on that. And then Heather asked about her current animal guide. So we can do
This
that real quick and then we'll have to wrap
this
it
will be
up.
our last one. Yeah. So Heather, you're our exit thing. Listening to yours. Ooh, this is interesting. It's coming at me a different way. Your animal spirit guide is related to ears of corn. So
Wow.
literally anything that eats ears of corn is going to be relative to you. So now we're going to this situation and be a spirit animal. What pops in my head is deer and rabbits and things that visit corn cribs and corn stalk gardens and stuff like that. But this also means, butterfly worms, little critters that also eat that, and it also means humans. Did you ever meet a human that was your spirit guide? You got two of them right here. I'm kidding. I'm being facetious for that. But circling back around, they kept showing me a ear of corn with all the little kernels and the green leaves peeling back and the silks hanging down and a tall stand of green, leafy corn in the background, like it was an Ohio farmscape behind me, behind the picture on a summer day. So, and the corn was yellow and gold and white. It wasn't all one color. Guys, that's really weird. What else do you want to show me? Butterfly. They said go down the road with the butterfly. All right, so look up butterfly medicine. Butterfly medicine is about joy, and it's also about transformation. It's also about being a creature of the earth, transforming into being a creature of the air, which is an enlightenment symbolism as well. Does Heather have any other prevalent spirit guides with her at the moment? The deer, the rabbit, and the butterfly. Mostly the deer and the butterfly. Okay.
Oh,
And that's what
awesome.
shows up. Okay. Guys, it's been fun.
It really has. And next week, we're going to have a special guest with us, Dale Stacy. He's been with us before. He's got a new book out. He's a shaman, and he is fascinating. And be sure to join us for that. And then on the 26th, we're back on our chakra theme up to green level 4, which is a very exciting level.
Heart chakra.
Heart chakra. So yes, we
powerful stuff.
Yes. So hope you will join us for both of those. And why is this not going away? Oh, there we go. It didn't want to go away. And yeah, so thank y'all for joining us and for allowing us to enter your energy space, and hope that it's been helpful, and hope that you will come back again, same bat time, same bat channel next week. And yeah, thank you.
Good night.
Thank you for joining the Eyes of Indigo with Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. Music is Arcadia by Kevin MacLeod of Incomptech.com, licensed under Creative Commons. Visit our Facebook page for broadcast details at www.facebook.com/Eyes of Indigo. Show is copyrighted 2022 by Iris Carter and Margot Ross Sears. All rights reserved.